All right, hey guys, my name is Brian Bartek. Got you here, and welcome, folks. Um, this is a future me, and this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna talk over this, and I'm gonna try to edit over it. This is the failure part of it. I did not introduce myself here until after a little bit, because I failed to remember to put the codes on. Yeah, unfortunately, I did. So at this point, I'm going to fail and then my score is going to be different. Only because I started over from the beginning, it took me a little bit to get through. I went ahead and did the first stage over, but it's going to be a little bit more different for the second stage. It doesn't really matter for the ultimate score because it doesn't change anything. But anyway, welcome back, folks, one and all, to one of my personal favorite games. I want to say for at least a fighter type game. I wouldn't say it's one of my top favorites or anything in general, but it is for a deal. And I was going to talk to you about manliness. Well, there's this guys that were talking about manliness. Well, the thing is, though, that with manliness, I've done this too, where I ripped off a deal, and it wasn't just because of that. But to be fair, because they were talking about how they left the house where it was all old and crunchy and stuff like that. Well, it's not always generally the case. It's because you don't have a choice. All people who do this when they leave a home with wear and tear because you've been using it for so long. It doesn't matter if you've been. I mean, if it's still going to be like that because no matter how many times you've been there, even if it's only been a day or an hour, and all of a sudden you're to somewhere other place, it's going to be wear and tear over time. We have wear and tear too, to be fair. But anyway, I just wanted to, yeah, okay, quickly go over that and tell you that as well is that it's really so. Anyway, I mean, he's gonna go on for a little bit, but I mean the me there before he starts playing. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, because I was trying to, cause when I play a game or I have to focus, which I can do, believe it or not, I can talk to somebody while I'm playing this game. But while I'm recording it is the biggest deal because it's like, just trying to make sure I don't mess up. And I have played this both regularly and normally. Some of the parts of this game are absolutely where I have to have codes. Yes, I do in order to survive. Some of it I don't, but that's just the way it is. Ball bosses are easy, hard, and simple. And they're not going to be easy enough that you're going to take them down with one or even a few shots. You're going to take a little bit to get them down through each phase. The first boss that we fought had guns that we could have gotten that are for the sub weapons, you might call them. But I didn't give it enough time, nor did I bother to attract the attention of it. So, I mean, there's actually two bosses in the game, and here we are doing this part of it. But yeah, there are two bosses in the game. I never really thought about it that way for the first level, but this one here, uh, and then I thought, well, okay. Now I think about technically, and if you want to get technical, even the mini ones are kind of like bosses because you're practically down in there. And all bosses have sub weapons, but you gotta go through different phases to absolutely find these sub weapons in order for it, and then in order to drive, get them to show up. So I guess it gives you plenty of opportunity if you want to grab one. I don't need it. I'm a professional. I wind up usually destroying things, but the best weapons I have seen are the galactic gun or galactic gun, or is it a machine gun? I don't know if you want to. I don't. I can't think what the difference is. A Vulcan or a cannon. Some of the weapons are not that great, like just little miniature little things that explode. They're not all that in a bag of chips, but they're okay, I suppose. Um, Even the spreader is pretty good, but the best ultimate weapon you'll ever find is the missiles, because, or as it's called, Wasp. It is a missile launcher. It does pretty good, especially if you get like two of them on your fighter. And see, if I hadn't had that coat on, because that's what you take a chance of when you're trying to go back and forth trying to fight these guys. Otherwise, my ship, I was going to say that, but I forgot. But anyway, I would have got my ship destroyed. So pretty much there's that. And now that I think of it, it's kind of reminiscent of another game, but they're not quite the same. So in any case, they're pretty good, I gotta say. Um, there's a sword one. It's okay. And there's the riot one. Yeah, it's all right, I suppose, but it's not all that in a bag of chips. The ones I would recommend you do, and you can play however you want to. Um, you can do whatever you want. If it's good enough for you, then go for it. I would say that's what I really highly recommend. But for me, because I'm a professional, and you could practically speed run this game just about anyway. If I wanted to, I could have been doing that, But I'm not. I'm just gonna take my time on it. Plus, it's gonna take a while anyway to get through it. Anyhow, probably take me about almost an hour just to even get through the entire game. That's how short this game is, uh, or almost 2 hours, whether I talk or not. It's also because of how much damage I had to put into trying to get through it all. And I'll tell you, I mean, the Vulcan is pretty good, even though it's actually a machine gun or Gatling gun, but they have their own names for copyright reasons. And then there's the machine gun itself, that one right there. It's pretty good when it's got double barrels. Even one is pretty good, but it helps to have something that can absolutely do this. This is the first boss, and if it comes out with a score screen, that's the actual official boss. So that's when you can tell. And the scores don't matter this game. So I'm gonna come up to a point that I don't think I've ever had with this boss before, and I don't really think I really eventually even thought of it as a boss. It's just something I had to fight. But either way, it should be nothing to me. I can defeat it with any fighter type. It's the same guy, no matter what fighter type you are. It's not like there's a female or whatever. He's basically all alone in this adventure trying to free the masses, both sides. Even though that we've turned the machines to absolutely decimate both sides, and it was the biggest war I guess you've ever seen. I don't know, between the colony of I think it's Mars or something. So how long have we been recording? We don't have a way to tell. Well, anyway, so and yeah, this guy's almost dead. But yeah, pretty much, you know, the X button is there, and I guess it's the square button that uses the mini button. Yeah, there's a new phase I was talking about that I don't remember ever coming across. But now he's dead, so he's gone now. And I, never mind, and I thought I was gone. Okay, now he is, for sure. When it gets like that, you can definitely tell when he starts doing that. Boom, he's gone. But yeah, I'm going to be like I said, I'm gonna take my time. I would have talked about the manly stuff with the other series I've got going on, but this is a show I'm just gonna wrap up within so many episodes. I'm gonna try to do another uh, Avion today sometime, but I want to go ahead and get some more um, Halloween videos out. I'm not gonna swear it's gonna be. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I mean, outward I'm gonna be posting them, but if I could ever get a hold of the original Castlevania, that will be for another Halloween. I could put a bunch of videos in. I'm just gonna put it up to at least 10, and then try to finish it off as I go along, and and it kind of helps to go ahead and just release the first trailer of the game that it shows you for an intro. You know, otherwise, depending on how many episodes you actually have to put out a day for Halloween, I would definitely recommend doing that. So, especially how much time you got to put into it. If you put in like more than 20 minutes, you'll be okay, I guess. But even the intro should still always be released. It doesn't matter when, but that's just my highest recommendation to you. Okay, so here comes the boss, the final true boss at this level, not of the game. But yeah, so we're going to be seeing phases where we actually, this one will actually show you, and unlike the other one, you actually had to trigger it. That's right, I forgot. The first boss, you actually, for that first level, true one, you had to actually trigger it. This one you don't. And I didn't notice that was a target there's a little target screen right there. I didn't really notice that was a deal that you can shoot, and I didn't know that. I even said so in the video, but I'm not gonna turn it up. I forget what point I said it at, but I'm gonna delete this video because I don't want it too long, because I rambled on like a rambler trying to make points about things, you know, about safety and all that. But whatever. So basically, here I am. I'm defeated. That. Oh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even see that because I was paying attention to the fight. So the screen right there that I'm not firing at is not being even affected. Looks like it is, but it's not. And see, again, if I hadn't had that coat on, my ship would have just go. Pfft. Yeah, and there's really no safe distance to be. All you can do is try to get around those whirly pools or whatever you call them that fires at you. There is a way to get around the flames. There it is. I finally defeated that part of it. And here comes the first weapon. And I failed to get because I couldn't hit it enough. I think that's another one. So there's another one I could have got. There it is. There's the thing I'm finally focusing on that. Not that it really makes a difference. And there you go. I don't know if that's their targeting thing, because it doesn't really seem to really make a difference. Anyway, even if it was their targeter, they know where I'm at. So it's not really that they don't know where I'm at. So, I mean, I didn't mention that in the video, but because you might say that, and then once I destroy this part of it, it's done. The main hit of it right there, which is its weakness. I mean, it's got all kinds of weakness all over the place, but it's not, if you're doing enough damage, you want to just go ahead and kill it off as fast as you can. Ultimate best weapon I use is the missile launcher, because it can check. Anyway, so yeah, pretty much he's gonna go rambling on something else again. We'll wait for him to start getting to this point. Come on. But yeah, pretty much I've already went ahead and re-explained everything. But anyway, yeah. Look at my score there. It's a little bit different for this stage. It probably would have been higher had I taken the time to do even more damage. It's not easy to do it, but it really doesn't matter. It doesn't affect anything. Even if you don't actually wind up defeating the boss in time, yeah, it doesn't really affect the game any. It just means you fought enough to get through it, and that's it. But you do want to get through it as fast as you can because especially if you don't want to prolong the game.
The rear gate is closed down. The way out is cut off.
Look at that. Score for this stage 783 600. Subtotal player one something I couldn't I'm not that good with math, but 131 7500. I don't want to say this much. Yeah, they physically trapped us. Well, technically speaking, which I've never thought about it before, but yeah, you're already trapped to begin with. Because you're already trapped into a fighting all the way through. But in the main plot line, you're pretty much already trapped again. So, pretty much, it's just going to be me talking about that here while we're, doing that. And then I'm going to ramble on for a little bit, but I'm not going to let the video do that. Anyway, so yeah, but because they just kind of trapped us in where we can't get out. I guess for some reason. I mean, and to be fair, not that I've thought about it again, but yeah, I've never seen where you can get out anyway. I mean, all you can do is just basically go through past the level by going through and destroying all the way through. All the enemies are not bothered with it if you can even get through there. You can even, as a matter of fact, as long as you have, if you know where to dodge it at, which is not always a good thing because they can still get you if you're not a little careful. And believe me, I have done that plenty of times. And this is without cheat codes. If you have cheat codes on, or the one code that you might need, which I don't have too many of them. I don't need that many if I do play a game with codes at all, which is not the case for every game I play. But for this one, I'm just making the exception. It's just one of them I am. And it's not because it's a deal, and that's because not because it's a one-off shot game, whatever. But it's just the way I prefer to play it, and it makes it go much smoother ride for me to do that. If that makes any sense. Most games, I don't really need it, but I can do it if I choose to choose. I like the freedom to be able to do it, but I don't. I can either choose to do or not to. This game, well, it just depends on how good you are at it. But if you don't mind dying a bunch of times, I do mind. However, there are differences between games that I will choose not to do so because I really don't need it. Like take Avion for example. Yeah, okay, I could use the cheat codes. I don't know about mobile edition, but I know about the PC version. If they even allow it anymore, I don't know. But if I could get a hold of cheat codes again, it would be only so many cheat codes I want to do. I'm not gonna be all, oh, okay, I'm gonna malware max out my character and all that, even though I could, because there is one game I know of that it only makes a difference for. Well, no, I take that back. There's two games. Optionally, um, if you want to go through it, but I don't need to. It doesn't really need anything. As long as you can survive through it all, it doesn't really matter. But pretty much, and I'll go over that when the time comes. But in the meantime, this is something I didn't even mention in the video. But yeah, pretty much, yeah, there will not be cheat codes on every game I ever play. Just most games that I feel that need it, or if I so choose to do so, I'm going to do that because I need them. Because I don't feel like really going through it, and I don't feel like grinding for cash. That's one of the things I do not want to do. But since I actually got up to the maximum point, I won't have to grind. I won't even have to use the code. So that's a good plus. However, there is going to be a code I will be using that will come into play a little bit later, no matter whether I'm 100% in the game or not. I'm going to do both runs consecutively. The only difference is that I'm not going to show. I will be showing it off where because just a little bit of instance, but other than that, not going to do much. What happens if you don't actually have the prosperity room? Because it doesn't really matter whether you're 100% of the game or not. It doesn't really affect it. But if you do 100%, 100 truly percent, it's important to or imperative that you get the prosperity room. It's very imperative that you do. But you have to follow the steps that I did. You can do a little bit differently if you so choose to, as long as you're ultimately doing it where you're getting it. Which the highest level I would recommend doing for it ultimately at the end is doing at least 10. Get there first. And that's just for doing the prosperity run and surviving through the mountain area you got to go through. And we'll go more about the items on that on another time. Um, but pretty much, ultimately, I gotta say, it's been a fun ride, and I'm enjoying this game. Once again, as I pick it up, and I'll tell you, I mean, because I am a veteran at these games. I'm not gonna promise I'm a veteran at games I haven't played or haven't been able to absolutely beaten, but a veteran enough that I've seen enough of it or I've done enough of it, And I'm not gonna do a whole bunch of sporty type games or whatever. I'm not gonna start doing this whole, okay, let's go fishing. Like, I could try, and it's part of 100%ing most games, which I will not promise to try to do. Where I'm going to try to 100% the game. I'm going to promise that I'll try to do the fishing, but I'm not going to make you any guarantees or promises that, oh yeah, I'll definitely be able to do it. Because you know how many times it's going to take me before I can even get through it all? I'm not going to bother to practice because it ain't going to do me no good. There is an instance that I do love in the other game that I would love to show off. And it really doesn't matter whether you're 100% into the game again or not for this one part. But it's a pretty fun game. It wasn't in the first game. It wasn't in the second game or the third game nor the rest of them, which kind of sucked. There's also another one that was not in the rest of the game series either. Another shop that I'll go more over later. So it's not really going to spoil the game for you. But I'm not going to spoil. I mean, I am telling you about a shop that doesn't really spoil the game. But I'm not going to tell you what the specifics, like what it is. But it is the only one of its unique kind. Like Suikoden 1 is like its only unique own kind, but it also is the one that started the entire series. Not 4. Even though that 4 is a prequel and a waste of a number, I will always believe in that. But hey, it is what it is. Oh man, am I rambling on again? Okay, well, all right. I'll see you all in the next episode of Einhander, or as I call it, Einhander. Until then, I'll see y'all next time. Later.